Hey guys, welcome back to JK Rants and Reviews. I'm John, and today I wanted to talk about the Hasbro Megazord and my custom Megazord. We will be comparing it to the Hasbro Megazord that I've done nothing to. We'll also be comparing it, the finished product, to the Soul of Chogokin, Tamashi Nations, and the Bandai America's 2010 Megazord with my custom stickers. I have out my other Megazords just for giggles, but we're pretty much going to stick to these for. So how I'd like to start this is looking at the Hasbro Megazord and the problems I had with it straight out of the box. Overall, I do like this Megazord, but it had some problems that I could not live with, and if I didn't have the skills, the money, or the effort to put into it, I probably would actually say that this is mostly a pass for me. Even though I think there's a lot of benefits to this Megazord. So first off, the problems are the paint. As everybody knows, the gray here is a horrible light plasticky gray. The details on a lot of this Megazord are left unpainted and without stickers. The paint around the head of the Megazord is not painted. These are missing the armbands here. They're missing their stickers. The Mastodon is the worst part of it, with hardly any stickers or detail at all, other than this little bit of green. The next biggest problem I had with this Megazord was the tail. The tail, as you can see on the Soul of Chogokin, folds over on itself and kind of hides, even though right here it's still too high up. If you look at pictures of the original Megazord with the guy in the suit, this tail should actually be more like right here. So on the original Megazord, we'll bring that over for it. The tail folds down on this one as well. And on the 2010 version, it was just short enough to where it barely stuck out. Another problem on the tail that I didn't like is how low this comes. If you look at it straight on, it you can see it right here. And since it's red, for whatever reason, it sticks out to me. This is not as much of a problem on the Soul of Chogokin. It is a bit of a problem on the 2010 and the Legacy, and not so much on the original. So something I kind of wanted to fix as well. The next thing I noticed that really bugged me, and that most of these Megazords have a problem with, and that problem is the head. Now on most Megazords, the head is just a little too small. Soul of Chogokin, head's a little too small, but it does rotate. Hasbro, way too small, does not rotate. The 2010/Legacy is pretty decent. I would say that it's probably at the best head size. And the original was decent, but the body overall was chunky. So not too bad, but I think the 2010 Megazord had the best head per body-wise, shape-wise. And then the last thing to bother me about the Hasbro Megazord is its horribly tiny, terrible looking hands. See if we can come in on that. Can't really make out a thumb here, even though there's a little bit of detail right here. And it just looks god awful. Now in the show, sometimes they use just a hand and a glove, and you can really see the difference between the big bulky hand and then the small hand. So these kind of are show accurate. I mean, I wouldn't, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't bother you. I wouldn't highlight it, even though I am highlighting it. I would live with it. If you can see over here on the Soul of Chogokin, the hands, just like in the show, are just a slightly different gray than this gray, and just a little bit lighter than this black. So it kind of sticks out and gives it a little bit of difference. So that's kind of what I kind of went off of, was pictures and the Soul of Chogokin. Here is my custom Hasbro Megazord. And I will take you step by step of what I did and how I changed it and how I think I have made a better Megazord than the Soul of Chogokin for $1 spent. So we will go Zord by Zord, and we will just go to the ground up. For the most part, we will leave the Tyrannosaurus last. So we're going to start with the Triceratops, and you can see that the Soul of Chogokin has the nice white and black on the sides with a little bit of a dark gray here. And the black stripes with the silver trim up here. You got the wheels that don't actually spin, but they look great. They pop in and out on the Soul of Chogokin. You can see on the uncustomized Hasbro Megazord, it has some of the detail, but it is missing the white around the eyes. The detail on the wheels. I'll just put in this guy. The detail, no detail on the wheels. These aren't black. No black trim up here, no black here or red on the knee. So you can see on mine, I used a lighter silver to kind of help it pop a little bit. And then I used the silver on the rims of the wheels. And then I did black out the tire tread on the tank wheels. Sorry. And then I did do white paint around the eyes. I will get a bit of a finer pen and kind of touch that up a little bit, but for overall, it looks really good. And I did put on a better steely gray on the Triceratops horns. So you can kind of see the difference here on the eyes, on the knee. I painted the top here. This isn't quite right. If you see on the Soul of Chogokin over here, it's got these extra little yellow spots. I thought about painting those in, but I just haven't done that yet. So next we'll move on to the Saber-Tooth Tiger. And obviously you can see that they did put the little head sticker here, which is great. I blacked out the mouth. I also added a little bit more black to the nose. I painted the tusk silver and the leg silver. I put red on the inside here to kind of finish that off, where they only put red on the outside here. And then you can see I blacked out the wheel. I added some black detail to these two wheels here. Back here in the corner, and then these little bitty black ones right in here. I also put in black here in the ears right here, and then the side of the head here, which is really nice that a lot of these details, most of these details are all molded in, so it's really easy. And then black right here. I also put the black trim up here, and I put a little bit of black on the cannons to kind of help it pop. I had some pictures to go off of that really helped. And then I put the red on the knees. And of course I put the gunmetal gray or steely gray here on the cannon / tail. The only thing that bothers me that I can't really change a whole lot, I thought about taking a spare Saber-Tooth from a 1990 and seeing if I can't cut that plastic off and actually fill in this gap. But it didn't really bug me enough to do anything about it. Here's a back view. Didn't do a whole lot on the back other than I did paint these silver on the Triceratops, and I blacked out the wheel covers. Also blacked out some of the wheels on this side on the Saber-Tooth, and then those details right here. I didn't black these out or gray these out just because it's the back. You know, you didn't really see it in the show, so everybody that I've seen that put gray and black in these, I can't really say if it is or isn't show accurate. And it wasn't a big deal enough for me to change it. Now, moving on to the Mastodon, the paint I added were, if you can see on the Soul of Chogokin, there's some silver right here. I added the silver right here that was missing. I also blacked out this silver little bolts pivot area right here. I got lucky. I had some extra armbands left over from a sticker sheet for my 90s Megazord that I just cut the center out of and brought them together. Ended up looking really nice. So the only thing I did not paint, but it turned out really, really nice. Also on the Mastodon, not a big deal, but I did paint these little guys right here red. They are red on the Soul of Chogokin. I did paint the Pterodactyl cannons. Biggest change to the Mastodon, besides the stickers and a little bit of paint, were the hands. Like I said, the hands, if you see right here, They're just so small. And it bothered me. I tried to get past it. I tried to get over it, but I just could not do it. So if you see there, you see the size difference. This gap right here will go away. I just haven't super glued it in there because I wanted to show you guys what I did. So for the Mastodon shield and hand customization, what I did was I used one of these little 90s Megazords. So you have the shield that it comes with. Take that guy off there. And then they come with a nice, perfect size hands. So what I did was I took one of those hands and I cut this part off, and then I took a drill with a drill bit and I drilled the back end of that off. So that way I could stick what was left of his hand that I had to cut and grind back. And so that is what I used. And I did paint these silver to see if I liked it better. I'd like them a little bit better black. I may in the future paint them a dark gray, but for now I thought black was fine. And then that holds the shield. And looks gorgeous. Also, if you did want to use this shield, but you did not want to modify the hands, I made a shield here where I cut the tab off. A shield here where I cut the tab off here, pop the back of this off, cut this handle off of this Mastodon, and then this he can now hold in his hand without having to be modified. But I didn't end up using this. I may modify this guy right here, customize, and sell him with that guy. Also, I did customize a sword because if you see in the show, the sword, the bottom of the handle should come out just a little bit, and the sword is unfortunately kind of massive in his hand here. So I did make a customized smaller sword, which I like quite a bit better. I cut the bottom off and then I just glued that little end up right there. So that was my idea to improve the sword. And then I did add a little black detail in here, which on my customize, I ended up not doing that just because I think it looks a little bit better just with the regular shade instead of blacking it out. That's just me. I had a little bit of leftover on the Mastodon tusks that I had a shield to where it didn't have these tusks and it only had the trunk. So I removed the trunk and cut the trunk on the full Hasbro Mastodon, and I put that guy in there and I put these tusks in there, and I was going to warm these up and bend them up and kind of make a shield to make it look a little bit bigger, maybe like the show. But I actually just kind of like the standard dark gray here. I think it looks pretty good. It's a little smaller than what it is on the show, but overall I think it's really nice how it's flat and it gives it the stickers you need and everything else. But this isn't really a necessity either because he only used it like in 2 or 3 episodes, the shield, so you could just get rid of that and you're good to go. While we're on the shield and the sword, just to let you guys know, I've heard you can use the Legacy Power Sword in his hands. I have the 2010 sword. I thought about using it, but the sword on the show, if you look, is kind of small. It's kind of stumpy like this guy, which is why I like this Power Sword better than the 2010 look. It's just a little too big. I like the detail, I like the way it looks. It's just too big. If you guys like it, if you want the 2013 chromed out one, you can definitely do it. I believe this works. Yeah, the 2010 Mastodon head. If you wanted to replace that just to save yourself some stickers, I got an extra one for $12 online. This is for my 2010, but I've got an extra one. So that actually does work. I believe this also works in the chest. Yes, it works in the chest. So you can replace your Hasbro with your Bandai 2010 or Legacy, and that will work if you want another way around the Mastodon shield to have it. So moving on to our next Zord that we're going to cover the Pterodactyl. With the Pterodactyl, I actually didn't do anything to it. I could have painted the sides here, the steely gray, but I decided not to. It just didn't bother me. I think it looks fine. I might change it in the future, but for now, I called it a day. I'm not really proud of this, but I already have about 10 hours into this Megazord, and I was kind of done at the time. So moving on, the last Zord we'll cover here is the Tyrannosaurus. The biggest problem I had with the Tyrannosaurus is this, the teeny tiny little guy, the little head right here. All Megazords, including the Soulless Chogokin, have a tiny Megazord head. The 2010 and the Legacy does a better job, but it's still a little small, not too bad. So with this guy, I thought, how can I fix that? So I took off a Legacy Tyrannosaurus Megazord head, and that's what I used here. How I did that was I cut off the Hasbro head. I cut it off high at the neck just to leave me a little bit of room, and then ended up grinding it all the way down to the bottom of the neck. The Legacy and the 2010 Megazord head is really easy to remove. You just drop the chest of the Tyrannosaurus, a couple screws here and there, and it pops right off. It's super easy. Let me show you here. So as you can see, I have this upside down. It's not coming off. It's not bolted in. I left it unbolted so that way I could show you guys. It turns really easily. Piece of cake. Looks great. And then pops off. And then there's that hole right there. This guy right here sits perfectly in there. And then this is where the screw goes in the Legacy and the 2010. It's really easy to remove if you wanted to do that. And I actually, just to have this sit closer to the body, I actually shaved this part down right here, and then I blackened the inside of the Megazord mouth, and then all the way around and everything else, just to kind of even it out a little bit. I will say that this is a the glossier red than the rest of the Megazord, which bothers me a little bit, but it's not too bad if you want. The early 90s Megazord, this guy right here that took the hands off and the shield, this guy right here, I actually took his head off, and this one was missing the white but it had the black. That's strange. Anyway, so I put that little detail here in. I colored in the eyes down here, and then this trim down right here, and then the yellow part in right here. So if you wanted to use this one, because coming by a Legacy head is kind of tough, and a 2010 is not that easy, it sits there just like that, and it actually looks pretty good. It looks better than the Hasbro Megazord head, and it's still, in my opinion, if you could see it in person, it's kind of hard to show on camera, but it's still just a little too small. It is better. It is better, and with a little customization, I think it's an improvement. However, it is a little bit of effort. You can see right here, it's just flat here at the bottom. You can grind that down a little bit. You could drill into it through this hole right here, and then that would give it a little stability and still a little turn probably. That's what I would recommend. But I personally like the Legacy Megazord head on this, and like I said, I'm just going to sit it back in there for now. I will bolt it down. So that was the biggest part that bothered me the most. From there, I actually went, I did paint it. I painted this steely gray here. I painted the sides here steely gray, and then I painted this part here. So I painted this part here steely gray, and then this part here black. As you can see the difference. Then on the back, I put in this silver detail. And then this one it's missing the feet currently, but it was just plain silver. So on the feet, I put this black on the side, and then I put this, it's hard to see, you can't even hardly see the detail work I put here, but black, and the trim right here, and then the rest of it I painted in red. And then on the tail, I painted the edges black, and then on the inside I put a silver. Let me bring in the soul of Chogokin, which has a vastly superior tail because it's not hollow, but you can see that black outline and the silver on the inside. And so for that tail fold down, because I absolutely hated, that was another big thing I hated. I hate how this tail goes like this. What I did was I cut it right here And then I just flipped it upside down and I glued it together. And then I painted that little tip right there. I got it off just on the side a little bit, but it's not bad. It looks better in person than on the video. And then what I did was, because like I said, this bottom part that hangs underneath the crotch right here, I actually just cut that off right there, and it helps quite a bit. I think it looks much better. Part of me wanted to cut this part right here and just get rid of this little gap section right here and then straighten that up, glue it to the back here, and then cut right here so it's still connected at the bottom, but the waist has nothing holding it back and it can go side to side. I may still do that, I just haven't fully committed to doing that yet. One last thing, I have a few of these and the swords and the hands and everything. I did try to use this sword because at first I like this sword a little bit better. It's a little thicker. It doesn't have all this hollowness to it. So what I did was I tried to extend the handle right there. You can see where I glued it. This is the end of a Triceratops lance deal I had. I cut it and then I grinded it down in here to a tip. I tried to make it, I'll just show you on this guy. It doesn't look too bad, it's just a little too small. I was impressed with how it turned out, but overall just a little too small. But it does really look good on the Legacy Build-A-Figure. So when I build my Legacy Legacy Build-A-Figure Megazord, I will be using that as its power sword because it looks pretty good. So without any modifications, just how they come, if this 2010 Megazord had the original stickers, I would actually still say that the 2010 Megazord, which I do prefer over the Legacy just because I don't like the chrome and then the plastic intermixing, I just think that the overall look of the 2010 Megazord is better. So I think, without any modifications, I think that the 2010 Megazord is better than the Hasbro Megazord. I think it's better in tank mode. I think it's better in Megazord mode. I prefer the 2010 Megazord over the Hasbro Megazord untouched. But when it comes to a Megazord, a fully completed Megazord, not individual mode, just the Megazord mode, dollar for dollar, I actually prefer my Hasbro custom Megazord over the Tamashi Nation Soul of Chogokin Megazord. Because on the Tamashi Nation Soul of Chogokin, the Mastodon head is not correct for the shield. The sword is extremely massive, I don't like. The cannons go way above the head, which bothers me a lot. The head is too small, and it's no fun. When you pick this thing up, it's scary. And it's on my shelf about 5 feet up. I don't like it. Everything feels like it could break, it could get loose. And if anything happens to it, it's done. Like you will live with whatever broke. Individually, this is the best Megazord. The Soul of Chogokin is amazing individually, even though I don't really care for the T-Rex. Individually, the Hasbro Megazord is not that great. But this all together, paint, add-ons, and everything, probably $70. This right now, the Tamashi Nation Soul of Chogokin, I think I saw it as like $5.95 with free shipping on eBay. That's ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think. Am I off my rocker? Do you think that the Soul of Chogokin is far superior in every way? Which it is. It is a gorgeous Megazord. It's just, is it a gorgeous Megazord for $500, $600 in your pocket? Oh, I don't know. It's not fun. It's scary. This guy right here, pick it up, shake it, drop it. I could break it. I could find other parts for it. This guy, I break something, it's broken. Period. I got super glue, and that's it. I will say, though, just to show you guys, if you're like me and you hate these cannons, you can actually remove the cannons and use the Hasbro cannons on the Soul of Chogokin and the 2010 and the Legacy, and it actually improves them. So what you want to do is you just put them in these slots right here, kind of push that guy in there, tighten it up a little bit, Now this isn't like permanent. This isn't, you know, meant to go in there, but they go in there pretty snug, pretty good. I mean, obviously you're not gonna be throwing this thing around. And watch this. Look at this thing. Look at this. Voila. Look how much better that looks. Look at that thing. Bam. Nailed it. So much better. I actually, when I've been displaying this Soul of Chogokin Megazord, I actually haven't had cannons in it at all. But that actually looks really good. So let me show you real fast on the 2010 Megazord what it looks like. And the problem with the 2010 Megazord is that the cannons are hollow and they look horrible in Megazord mode. They just stick out here and they just look terrible. But in tank mode and in Megazord mode, they look much better with the Hasbro cannons. Now, these don't stick in quite as well as the Soul of Chogokin, but once again, you're probably not throwing this thing around, probably just having it on display. And then imagine if they were a little darker gray. Whammo. Once again, much better, and they look even better in tank mode. I think I have a picture I will put up right here. So I will be keeping my 2010 for my tank mode display. Eventually I will replace the 2010 with the stickers, Mastodon head for a legacy Mastodon as soon as I get one. One last thing here. Look how good it looks with the Dragonzord. Look at that. Look at that. Amazing. I love it. They cannot combine, unfortunately, but I did buy, I think I have 3 of these, maybe 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4. So what I want to do is I hope they come out with a Dragonzord so I can have a Dragonzord in battle mode, Dragonzord, or Mega Dragonzord, and then of course the Ultrazord if they come out with Titanus, because I just like being able to display all of it. But anyway, guys, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think the head was fine originally? Do you like what I did with the head? Do you like what I did with the tail? Is that too much? Anything I missed? I'm still working on this thing. I'll probably just, you know, touch it up as I go. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get some more R&R. Till next time, JK out.